to get me better. They're dealing with a whole body instead of just one part, trying to target one section like a neurologist would or a MD would.
That was a brave girl speaking. And I've treated many patients with side effects that they told me were from being vaccinated. I just would like to make one other story available to you. Would you like to do that? David had a son in the service, and if you could just tell us in a few minutes what happened to him, I appreciate it. It's okay with you.
I raised a son and a daughter, and back in 1990, we had the original Gulf War crisis supposedly over there, and we had massive movement of military to Saudi Arabia and the Middle East. I think that the total was something like 500,000 military guys. My son happened to be at that time a ranger in the 82nd Airborne, and he was a platoon sergeant, and of course the 82nd Airborne is the first deployment wherever they go. They're the advanced troops. But anyway, as you recall that scenario over there, this all happened in August, actually about this time of the year in 1990. I think it was about the 8th or 9th of August when they deployed over there. And the actual fighting and war did not start until after the first of the year in 1991. But all of the military guys, and I don't know if this covered all of them, but at least everyone in the airborne units were vaccinated. What happened to my son was, after he'd been over there from August to roughly the 1st of December, he started losing weight, and he started having dizzy spells and was losing focus. And he was a platoon sergeant, and those guys are programmed to be tough. The Rangers are a pretty tough outfit anyway. And all the guys in his platoon are Rangers, all of them. It's a total Ranger unit. And obviously, as he feels things going on with him that are negative, he's not wanting to fail because he sees himself in a position of leadership and setting an example. But ultimately, he went to the infirmary there, and they checked him out, and he had lost about 25 or 30 pounds in a period of 3 or 4 months as they waited for this war to begin. And they tested his blood sugar at 400. And so, in essence, what had happened, he had become diabetic during the stay there in Saudi Arabia. They attributed that to, the water over there is horrible. And so what the guys would do is they would take the water and they would put Kool-Aid in it, and then they would put sugar in the Kool-Aid to make the water palatable. And so that's what they were attributing, is he just consumed too much of this sugar water, so to speak. So I guess we kind of bought that originally. What happened is they pulled him out of theater, and it was very hard for him to do because he has a sense of responsibility. He's a little bit older than the other guys in his unit, and he felt responsible for them. And they ingrain that in you very, very But anyway, they pulled him out of theater and they sent him to Germany, hospitalized him for a while, and eventually they brought him back to Walter Reed in Washington. And of course, he was, diagnosed as diabetic. And so ultimately, they mustered him out. They gave him a 15% disability rating and mustered him out of the military. He actually was going to be career military. He was one of these gung-ho kind of guys, And so anyway, he came home, which home at that time, Fort Collins, Colorado, and he just kept getting worse and worse. And the diabetic, he was insulin dependent, but there was other things going on with him as his health deteriorated, and he was married. In fact, his little daughter was born while he was over there in theater. He came home in 91 and returned to civilian life, a very sick young man, and just kept deteriorating. And very sadly, he was involved in an automobile accident in May of 1992, and he was with his brother-in-law, and they were coming home late, and they tried to cross from a county road to go across a highway there that comes into Fort Collins, and they were hit by an 18-wheeler, and they were both killed instantly. And we still didn't know, what was going on with him. We just knew he was sick. And he was sick to the point where he couldn't hardly get out. He was almost non-functional. Couldn't get out of bed in the morning. Had these headaches and night sweats and rashes and joint pain and just a whole plethora of symptoms. But of course, we were impacted by the grief of his loss. And he was given a full military funeral. But as time went on, one of his buddies that had been in the military with him came out from Maryland